Yo, what up, squad? Hey man, welcome back to HOODROK Entertainment, the realest, dopest, and most active reaction channel on YouTube. Right, we're not even tapping in with any music, bro. We're not even tapping in with any music. Yo, it's been a minute since I've done something like this. I thought, yo, we're gonna tap into like a little short doco, cause you know, we're more than just we don't just react to music. We react to all sorts of entertainment, bro. Comedy, docos, you name it, bro. Sports. So yo, welcome over. If it's your first time tapping into my channel, hit that subscribe button, bro. Click up, scroll up, tap, or whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and do that. Your boy's rolling something up here. So yo, if y'all got something to smoke, you know, if y'all smoking, if you don't smoke, that's cool. But if y'all smoking, roll up with your boy. Alright? Make sure you get yourself a little something. You know, I'm gonna need that goodness. So yo, I thought we're gonna start getting into more of the these kinds of videos, bro. You know what I mean? Because I've been getting hit in the comment section like, yo, not all of us. This is from the subscribers. Not all of our subscribers are here for music. And I was like, yo, that's true. I forgot, bro. A lot of our subscribers tap in because of the sports, you know, particularly the ice hockey and the football and stuff like that. So let me fix this. So we're gonna bring more of those, bro. Alright, I guarantee you that. Let me close this. So yo, this one. What's up, my Viking niggas, bro? What's up, my Viking niggas, bro? We're tapping into some of your fellas' ancestors, bro. The Berserkers. Now, I've tapped into something about these dudes before. It was like 2 years ago, bro. I can't remember too much, but I'm pretty sure this here's gonna trigger some memories. So yo, let's get into this. You know what up, bro? Run the numbers up on this. Hit the notification bell. Send in some stuff, bro. Anything. Something about some serial killers. Something about some fucking haunted shit. Some funny shit. Anything. Just send in some shit. Documentary shit. Whatever, bro. Alright? Not just music, but keep the music coming too, bro. Alright? Now let's get it.
Today, the Vikings of pop culture are almost always depicted as yelling and screaming wildmen who slaughter all those around them in a blood rage. While this is certainly an inaccurate caricature of your typical Viking warrior, it does actually come quite close to describing those within their ranks whom even the Northmen feared and reviled for their animalistic.
Even though, you know, it's a little bit far-fetched, getting a little bit overboard, that's pretty much how it is.
Savagery. These were the Viking Berserkers. Today, let us dive into their fascinating history. This video was sponsored by Magellan TV. They're an awesome documentary streaming service run by filmmakers with a selection of over 2,000 videos to choose from, among the categories of history, science, nature, space, and more. When it comes to history documentaries, Magellan TV has the richest and most varied content anywhere. Ancient, modern, current, nature.
Alright, bro.
If you like our traces the line, Magellan TV is compatible with Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Google Play, and iMobile device. Sign up today to get a 1-month free magellantv.com/Invicta. From the get-go, it must be stated that the topic of Viking berserkers is a mysterious one. Studying the Old Norse sagas and medieval chronicles, for instance, yields a myriad of diverse and even contradictory descriptions of their nature, which makes them hard to nail down as a well-defined unit of history, as compared to some of the other groups we've previously described in this series.
No, these dudes do some good videos too.
Academic debate whether Viking berserkers even existed at all.
Oh, they existed, my nigga.
That being said, there are just too many mentions of berserkers across the geographic and temporal history of medieval Scandinavia to assume that they were just made up out of whole cloth. Therefore, we will be doing our best in this episode to piece together an accurate reconstruction of who they really were. Our model of the Berserker will begin at the foundation of their identity with one of the most universally held notions about them, that they were animalistic. This is a quite common phenomenon that pops up across many human civilizations. It seems to have its origins in early religious ideas of animism, which hold that the line between the material and spiritual realms are blurred. In such a world where all things from humans to animals, plants, objects, and more can have spirits, it is often the case that these entities can become intertwined. Thus, throughout history, we see many cultures with ideas of human hybrids. In Europe, for instance, this might occur with a wolf, in Africa with a hyena, in Asia with a tiger, and in Central America with a jaguar. Shamans and other religious figures with a closer connection to the spiritual realm were often the ones to make such transformations. Thus, with the
Hold on. My bad, yo, my bad.
Berserkers, it seems that they were part of the ancient Norse tradition of human-animal hybrids. This manifests in many ways across the ancient sagas, where individuals can be seen transforming into eagles, ravens, wolves, and bears. Odin and other legendary figures from mythology are commonly described as shape-shifting, and we even hear of mortals doing the same after being gifted or cursed in some way. Such transformations grant the subject the physical traits of the creature in question, which can be quite helpful in overcoming challenges they might face. In addition, we also hear of supernatural advantages, which...
probably... They probably acted like animals. And fucking, you know what I mean? And things like, and like wore, you know, animal skins and shit to make motherfuckers think they were those crazy ass fucking hybrid, half human, half things, and you know, to scare motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like real talk, cause shit. I know for fact, bro, imagine this shit. Imagine that, bro. You pull up, he drop you the Addy and you pull up, bro. And niggas come walking out the bushes looking like fucking werewolves and shit, like blood dripping off this shit, like, yeah, nah, nigga, skirt, we out, cuz.
Need a transformation, such as an invulnerability to normal weapons. In Egil's saga, for instance, a shapeshifter is only slain when his throat is ripped out. We've therefore seen the prevalence of the human-beast concept in Viking
like a vampire and shit, garlic, all that
it's
bullshit.
important to note that not all shapeshifters were berserkers. We are just dealing with a subset here. So, what were some of the other distinguishing qualities? Well, it seems that the second major characteristic of the berserker was their rage, known as the Berserker gang. This fury occurred not only in...
That's where the word comes from, you know what I mean? To go berserk. You know what I'm saying? It say Berserker gang. Berserker gang means berserker rage. Oh, yo. Oh, shout out my Viking niggas, bro. Y'all niggas was ganging it long before anyone else was ganging it. These niggas was on Berserker gang time, you know what I mean?
In battle, but could also occur during hard work, as a result of some triggering event, or for no apparent reason at all. The condition is said to have begun with shivering, the chattering of the teeth, a chill in the body, and a swelling of the face which changed color. As the transformation progressed, individuals would spiral into a state of increasingly hot temper until they lost all human reason.
Bro, that's called wilding the fuck out, dude. That nigga wilding the fuck, that's what the fuck that is, bro. That's called wilding the fuck out, cuz. That's just funny, bro. That's funny as fuck. Bulging their eyes out, fucking losing them up, bro. That's called wilding out, nigga.
Again, tying us back to the animalistic qualities we discussed. Berserkers might begin to yell, to howl, and to bite the edge of their shields. According to Hrolf's saga,
By
a
his
group of
shield.
warriors fell into such a fury that they could not control themselves, but killed men or cattle, whatever came in their way, and did not take care of itself.
Wilding
While
the
this
fuck
fury
out.
lasted, they were afraid of nothing. But when it left them, they were so powerless that they did not have half their strength and were as feeble as if they had just come out of bed
It's
from a...
called exhaustion, bruh. You know when you have a fucking, you know when you hit, it's called battle rage, bruh. Bro, it wasn't only Vikings that did that, bro. There were plenty of people that suffered battle rage, right? Like my people, we're tribal warrior people as well, bro, right? And we're known for cannibalism. But that was part of our post-battle rage. Like, fucking, and then after that, we'd sleep for fucking days, bro, because of the exhaustion from being in a rage. Shit, you know what I mean? That ain't nothing new.
fury lasted, they were
It's
afraid
dope
of
as fuck,
nothing. But when it left them, they were so powerless that they did not have half their strength and were as feeble as if they had just come out of bed from a sickness. This fury lasted about 1 day. The blinding nature of the Berserker gang was apparently so strong that according to Egil's saga, men even became threats to their own family members. It is this fact that leads us to one of the last major qualities that is brought...
Motherfucking cuckoo, nigga. It's called battle rage, bro. You know when you, oh my god, y'all niggas seen 300? Y'all seen the movie 300? You see when that dude, when the generals, when the captain's fucking son gets decapitated in front of him, and he loses it, and he just starts fucking all them niggas out, like he just starts going fucking, he goes berserker, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
associated with berserkers, their rejection by the community. This was in response not simply to their violence, which might be lauded in certain contexts, but to the way it was directed indiscriminately at both friend and foe. The Vikings held dear to the heroic ethic which demanded honor, loyalty, and fidelity to one's friends. Crossing this line was a huge cultural sin.
So what's wrong with y'all motherfuckers over there now snitching on each other then? Y'all not the real Viking niggas. Yeah, I'm talking about you niggas over there in Sweden that be snitching on y'all niggas. Yo, it happens everywhere. But y'all see, honor bound, bruh. Stay loyal to your friends. All that shit.
Vikings held dear to the heroic ethic which demanded honor, loyalty,
Stop
and
sitting your
fidelity
homies
to-
up. You know what I mean? On that Haval Aina type shit. On rest in peace Aina. You know what I mean? Stop. Y'all motherfuckers over there on that fucking dumb Lee shit. You know what I mean? Doing that dumb Lee shit. Snake ass nigga. No honor in that. You know what I mean? Ain't no honor in that,
one's
bro.
friends. Crossing this line was a huge cultural sin.
But the
Even
Berserkers
if a
didn't give a
berserker
fuck.
wasn't guilty of such an act, the fact that they entered a state in which they very well might do so basically marked them out as social outcasts. Added to this,
So basically, because the average Viking warrior, bro, is a warrior, bro. I can fucking fight, bro. Like any warrior race, bro. Like my race. Any warrior race can fight, bro. Right? Like we're trained from, just like Spartans, we're trained from childhood to fight and shit. But most warrior races are like that. But these niggas here, berserkers, are those trained warriors with no rules. That's the difference, I think, bro. I think the difference here is they didn't give a fuck. They had this was the part of the fucking Viking warrior race that didn't give a fuck. They had no, you know what I mean? They were the grimy niggas, them gutter ass niggas. You know what I'm saying?
are additional traits which made them generally unpleasant to be around. Many sources describe...
You know, you always got the homies. You got the homies. And all your homies can hold their own. But then you've always got that one homie that always wants to go fucking overboard, bro. He always wants to go overboard. You know what I mean? You're stomping a nigga out, and all he deserves is a stomping. Your homie pulls a strap out. Bop, bop, bop. Turns an ass whooping into 25 years. There's always that one nigga.
Berserkers as hideously ugly, with the figures of trolls and the manners of boars. They might be tolerated within a king's retinue or army due to their military utility, but were always kept at arm's length.
See what I'm saying?
Most of the time.
See what I'm saying? Like that one homie. Like that one homie. You know he good with the strap. You know he good with the strap. But nigga, when the war's over, it's like, now give me the strap back, nigga. The war's over now, the fight's over, we won. You know, and he starts going around fucking pulling the strap out on everybody, you know what I mean? That one dude.
Berserkers were out roaming the wilds or terrorizing communities. In fact, though they often get glorified today, they were actually the villains of many sagas against whom the heroes fought. So, to recap, the three main qualities of most berserkers are their association with animals, their enraged state, and their rejection by the community. Beyond these, one can find all sorts of variant berserker qualities when diving into our sources. So how do we package all this into a simple unit of history for discussion in our video? The real answer is that we can't. But if we take some historical liberties...
Well, the answer to that one there is, you know, you can't, bro. Can't categorize these niggas.
and force ourselves to do so, then we can perhaps present berserkers in two forms on the battlefield, as the individual duelist or as the member of a noble's retinue. When it comes to the equipment of a berserker, it's once again hard to pin things down with any uniformity. However, we can at least present a general idea based on the broad strokes from our sources and the translation of berserker as meaning bare of shirt. For defense, this meant going into battle with basically no clothes and no armor. Instead, they donned the skins of animals such as wolves or bears. This must have been as the individual duelist or as the member of a noble's retinue. When it comes to the equipment of a berserker, it's once again hard to pin things down with any uniformity. However, we can at least present a general idea based on the broad strokes from our sources and the translation of berserker as meaning bare of shirt. For defense, this meant going into battle with basically no clothes and no armor. Instead, they...
Yeah, we didn't have no armor or no clothes. Right, not even in our everyday life. We just wore a thing that we call a pew-pew. Right, it's made out of dried flax and shit. We wear it around our waist, but but if everyone else is wearing armor, and you're not, bro, you're a tough motherfucker, bro. You a tough motherfucker, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my people wore no armor, but none of us did. Like, it wasn't like everyone else wore armor and then there was that one nigga that just rolled out there like, yo, take my shit off. Like this nigga.
Donned the skins of animals such as wolves or bears. This must have been an extremely intimidating sight. It was a clear sign of the warriors' supreme confidence in their abilities and disregard for their own safety.
Fuck yeah, I was gonna say, bro. Fuck yeah, bro. I was gonna say, bro. Like, imagine that, bro. You're standing there waiting for the niggas, bro. You know what I mean? You got your sword, you got your foot. You're like, what's the, where these niggas at, bro? You know, you're looking at your mate over there, son. You're like, what's up, nigga? Yo, you good? He's like, yo, bro, I'm good. Yo, son, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Right, bro, where these niggas at? And they all start coming out. You're like, these niggas. Yeah, what up, nigga? And then you got that one dude just walks out the middle of them. Get the fuck out my way. What's up? Like, he got no shirt on. He's just got a fucking animal skin over his head. The blood's still dripping and shit. And he's just standing there. What's up? What's up, niggas? Like, I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Shotgun, not that nigga, bro.
Germanic warriors were known to do. They may
Bags,
have even
not
died
him,
or
nigga.
tattooed their bodies.
Oh, hold on.
Yets were known to do. They may have even died or tattooed their bodies. Yet, they would not be completely without protection. A berserker would have also sported a shield. These were typically 90 centimeters wide circular discs made of wood planks with a central metal boss hand grip and a rimmed rawhide edge held in place by nails. Additional metal bands could also be installed perpendicular to the wood to improve a shield's structural integrity. The front might be covered in rawhide with additional patterning painted over the top. For offense, berserkers carried the usual mix of Viking weapons. The most basic would be a 2 to 3 meter spear. Some had long pointed heads for stabbing, while others had broad sweeping heads for slashing in the manner of a polearm. Both might sport metal wings which flared out to either side to help parry attacks or disarm an enemy. Another simple weapon would be the axe. These were one- or two-handed weapons with a single edge. Popular variants included the short-bearded axe, which could be used to execute a flurry of quick blows or tear down an opponent's shield. Another version was the long, swept-blade Dane axe, which could deliver incredibly powerful blows. Yet while Viking axes could take many forms, this did not include the double-sided or dual-wielded variants commonly depicted in modern media. The last type of primary weapon wielded by berserkers was...
It's funny, right? Because whenever you see pictures of Vikings, now I remember this from another documentary, but whenever you see pictures of Vikings, you always see them with the helmets with horns, where never in history has it ever been found a Viking helmet with horns, bro. There's never ever been a Viking helmet with horns, alright? So you check out the Canberra Raiders, alright? The rugby league team, the Canberra Raiders. They got a Viking head, their helmet with fucking horns and shit, bro.
The sword. This would probably be their favoured weapon, as swords were harder.
And the axe with the double head shit, and the double-headed axe.
In modern media. The last type of primary weapon wielded by berserkers was the sword. This would probably be their favoured weapon, as swords were harder to produce and thus highly valued as a status symbol. A berserker might have been granted one in exchange for service, won one from a duel, or purchased one using the spoils from their victories. Most swords were one-handed, double-edged weapons. Blades were usually about 70-centimeter long pieces of pattern-welded iron with channels down the center containing inlays. These could be quite beautiful, but the true craftsmanship was built into the decorated hilt and pommel. Additional backup weapons might include smaller axes, single-edged swords, or daggers. This is the standard depiction of the berserker. However, I don't think that it's out of the question to imagine some of these troops bearing the heavy gear of their elite peers, especially if they were integrated into a ruler's retinue in battle. After all, the term berserker is sometimes translated as bear shirt rather than bear of shirt, which gives some wiggle room in terms of their depiction. Thus, one could speculate that a berserker might be seen sporting a mail vest or even some form of lamellar armor and a common Spangenhelm, or spectacled Yermanbu helmet. To maintain their visual animal tires, perhaps skins might be worn over the top of this gear or integrated into their shield design. However, I won't go much further than this, as we have already travelled far enough down the road of conjecture when it comes to equipment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's fucking, bro, like, they're only just guessing that that's what they may have worn. But what the fuck if he come out with armor on and a fucking helmet with the skins and shit? Nigga, I'm definitely dipping, bro. Like, fuck, why you pull me up here for, bro? Oh, the king sent them, fuck the king, nigga, fuck this, I'm going home. Some weed to smoke, bro. I ain't be fucking come out here fucking with niggas walking out the bush with fucking wolves over their heads and shit, nigga.
We can now discuss the training and tactics of a berserker. The first place to start is to ask, how did one even become a berserker? Our sources are not very helpful in this regard, with most attributing it to some supernatural source or overlooking an explanation altogether. However, some scholars have linked the berserkers to members of the cult of Odin and to the wider practice of Germanic warrior societies. New members wishing to join would likely have been put through ritual practices.
At the end of the day, if you don't know, you shouldn't actually be saying some scholars think, or we think, or you think, bro. Just don't say shit. If you just don't know, you just don't know, nigga. Don't say you guess, like, cause you know what I mean. Cause I can guess, nigga. And I can come up with some better shit than y'all niggas.
And initiation rites. Details are sparse, but some sagas mention that this involved defeating a fearsome adversary.
I gotta put it work.
Grettir's saga tells of a warrior descending into a bear den and emerging with its paw as a token of victory.
You gotta put it work,
archaeology
nigga.
reveals artwork depicting men grappling with one or more bear-like creatures. Sometimes, however, the initiation rite was more symbolic, as in Hrolf's saga, where a protege merely attacks a hung dragon skin before witnesses as a means to join their ranks.
What?
Other rites may have resembled the Gothic dance practiced by the
Mayhem,
Varangian Guard,
nigga.
where figures
Video
leapt
game,
about with
mayhem.
animal costumes, weapons, and ornaments. Now, assuming that one had become a berserker, how did they train? Unfortunately, we know little about this either.
And no shit about shit. Yo, he's putting some pretty dope facts in here, bro. But just to make a fucking interesting video, bro, these niggas just come up with some shit like, hey, and he could have wore this. But what if he wore this with that? And he may have even had the animal skin on top. I'm like, bro, you don't even know if he wore the first fucking bit of garment, bro. Let alone the second piece with the helmet, with the skin. What the fuck out of here? No, I'm fucking with it, though. Because as long as you know what parts to discard and what to take as facts, bro, then these videos are good. You know what I mean? But always remember, bro, keep in mind the key words: may have, could have, assumed. We can presume that they, you know what I mean? Like, just keep those things in mind when you're watching these types of videos. But also remember that a lot of the things that they do say are facts. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind too.
Generally speaking, though, elite Scandinavian troops performed activities to build their strength, stamina, and dexterity. This might involve carrying logs, throwing stones, running, swimming, and shoving one another with shields. Basic unit drills would practice the defensive shield wall or offensive wedge. But the greatest source of training was actual combat, either through duels or through battle.
Now believe that.
Berserkers would have racked up a lot of experience as a consequence of their supposed bloodlust. For instance, if they served in a Jarl's retinue, then they would have been placed in the front lines any time the men deployed for war. Otherwise, the sagas tell us that they sometimes made a living challenging people to legal duels, known as holmgang, and grew quite skilled as a result. Another important part of training to be a berserker would be to learn how to go berserk. Some sources claimed this just happened spontaneously, but we have a lot of other examples and theories of how the state might be triggered. For instance, one could drink animals' blood in an attempt to gain their power. The Gesta Danorum quotes the following advice: "Straight away, bring your throat to its steaming blood and devour the feast of its body with ravenous jaws. Then new force will enter your frame, and unlooked-for vigor will come into your muscles. Accumulation of solid strength soak through every sinew." Others have pointed to the idea that intoxicants were used. This might simply involve alcohol, or it could involve the use of more potent hallucinogenic substances, such as the Amanita muscaria mushroom. Yet more theories point towards exhaustion.
That makes sense, nigga. Motherfuckers thought there was animals though on the mushies one, nigga. Shit. The black magics and the blue meanies and the gold tops.
Or it could involve the use of more potent hallucinogenic substances, such as the Amanita muscaria mushroom. Yet more theories point towards exhaustion rituals, religious ecstasy, and even PTSD. In the end, we can't know for sure.
Okay,
so how would these new rage-ready berserkers be used in battle? Again, it's hard to say as we have very few details on Viking warfare overall. Generally speaking, though, battle would begin with an opening stage of posturing, as both sides
just generally
each
speaking
other's measure. In Germanic culture, this has traditionally involved the banging of weapons on shields and group chants. One can imagine that berserkers may have played a part in this psychological part of battle by psyching themselves up before the enemy.
That would have been some scary shit.
That would evoke a fear already planted within the hearts of warriors.
Yeah, that would have been some scary shit.
The next part of battle would involve an exchange of missiles from a distance, with everything from stones to javelins and arrows.
Shit, nigga.
In this aspect, one can't imagine the shirtless berserkers faring too well up in the thick of things. But then again, perhaps wading out into the rain of projectiles was just a further way for them to show their bravery and ferocity. In any case,
I believe
if
that.
up until this point neither army had withdrawn, then the forces would approach for a clash of arms. This is the moment that the berserkers lived for. They likely would have been positioned near the front of the army and been stationed close to or within the leader's retinue of herdmen and more professional troops. These would be the ones meant to take the brunt of the fighting and dish out the most damage. Berserkers probably would have served as shock troops who helped break the enemy line through either physical force or terror. If their blood rage is to be believed, then once past the shield wall, they would have carved a bloody swathe through the retreating foe.
Right, that'd be like those bench players. Right? People think they're being a bench player, sitting on the bench. The dudes that are sitting on the bench, right? In rugby, you have 17 players, 13 on the field, you have 4 sitting on the bench as subs. People think that subs are like they're the guys that just in case we need them. Nah, bro. Impact players, bro. Those are those dudes that at certain times of the game, you can see that the game, that, you know what I mean, that there's a moment in the game there's something needs to happen. You'll put on one of your bench players who might be the dude, might be that aggressive nigga that puts a hard hit in him, or he plays real aggressive, that dude, and he's just sitting there waiting. Am I on the country, man? Yeah, you're on now, bro. Go get him. And he's that one dude who just runs out there, boom, and puts that one hit in, bro. Bang, smashes some nigga and lifts the morale of the team, and changes the whole thing of the game. There's those dudes. They'd be perfect for that shit. You know what I mean? You're watching the battle take place and you're like, yeah, is it time yet? No, hold on, give it a minute. And you're watching the tide do that, you're watching it do that, and then you just see these niggas and boom, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, those dudes.
At least that's a tentative model of how Viking berserkers were used tactically in battle. Let's now cover their service history to provide some more concrete examples. A complete narrative is not possible to analyze, but at least we can string together a few key moments to paint a general picture. For instance, one of the earliest records of berserkers in battle is recounted in Hrolf Kraki's saga. Here we learn about the story of the semi-legendary Danish king, who is supposed to have ruled around the...
Shit, so is this how the kingdom, so this is how the Viking kingdom was broken up, so... The Wolfings, Swedes, Danes, Jutes... Yo, I see.
6th century AD. He had succeeded to the throne following the death of his father at the hands of the Swedish king, against whom he pledged vengeance. To that end, Hrolf assembled a team of 12 great berserkers and led them on an expedition to exact retribution.
Oh shit.
The story...
12 of these niggas? Oh shit. Holy shit. This nigga's gonna rock up to your shit with 12 berserkers, bruh. I think I'm good, nigga. I'm fucking... Yo. That's insane, man.
Tells of an epic battle in the Swedish king's great hall, involving pit traps, fires, and hidden warriors. Ultimately, the Danish squad proved victorious, but could not prevent their target from fleeing. Several...
These 12 niggas rocked up to your castle, bro. To your whatever the fuck is that, your village, your castle, whatever the fuck it is. Fucked all your niggas up, your security, your guard, all of that shit. They fucked everyone up. Except you ran away. But they fucked your niggas up, bro. That's insane, bro. 12 niggas. Holy shit. I'm gonna have
At
to watch it
battle
again.
in the Swedish king's great hall, involving pit traps, fires, and hidden warriors. Ultimately, the Danish squad proved victorious.
They had traps and all sorts of shit going on, bro. They had hidden warriors and fucking fire shit going down. Oh shit, these niggas still fuck these niggas. Oh my
But could
God,
not
bro.
prevent their target from fleeing.
We good. I'm good.
Several years later, Hrolf and his champions were beset by
Drink
another
my
challenge.
Gatorade, smoke my
The king's
weed, nigga.
half-sister
Shit, y'all
and her
niggas.
husband had plotted against him. The two raised an army in secret.
My ancestors, now that's how the fuck they get down, you know what I mean? Hit hunter type niggas, but nah, bro, I'm good on that shit.
Bringing
You know what I
them
mean?
to a midwinter celebration in Lyra in apparent peace, but with wagons filled with hidden weapons. A confused fight soon broke out and threatened to destroy the surprised Danes. The famous poem, Bjarkamal, tells of how a sleeping berserker by the name of Bjarki had sent out his spirit in the form of a monstrous bear to aid in the conflict. This he had apparently done many times before and is described as follows. Men saw that a great bear went before King Hrolf's men, keeping always near the king. He slew more men with his forepaws than any of the king's champions. Blades and weapons glanced off him, and he brought down both men and horses in King Hjorvard's forces, and everything which came in his path he crushed to death with his teeth, so that panic and terror swept through King Hjorvard's army. Unfortunately, however, Hrolf's sleeping berserkers were roused to aid in the battle, which broke Bjarki's trance. This well-intended action ultimately doomed the army and all the berserkers who were slain after a long, brutal fight.
Oh shit.
Another famous example of berserkers in battle can be found within the king's sagas about Harald Fairhair. These trace his struggles in the late 9th century AD to unify and rule Norway for the first time in history. It seems part of his ambitious plans involved using berserkers as shock troops. One of the Old Norse poems speaks of them in the following passage. I'll ask of the berserks, you tasters of blood, those intrepid heroes, how they treated those who wade out into battle. Wolf-skinned they are called. In battle they bear bloody shields. Red with blood are their spears when they come to fight. They form a closed group. The prince in his wisdom puts trust in such men who hack through enemy shields. They developed quite the reputation and feature prominently in the climax of Harald's campaign at the famed naval engagement of Hafrsfjord. Snorri Sturluson paints a vivid picture. A great battle began, which was both hard and long. But at last King Harald gained the day. There King Eric fell, and King Sulk, and his brother Earl Sot. Thor Haklang, who was a great berserk, had laid his ship against King Harald's, and there was above all measure a desperate attack, until Thor Haklang fell, and his whole ship was cleared of men. Then King Kjotve fled to a little isle outside, on which there was a good place of strength. Thereafter, all his men fled, some to their ships, some up to the land, and the latter ran southwards over the country of Yadar. Elsewhere, we find more references to berserkers in battle, but they remain quite vague with passages such as this one. The berserkers roared, the battle was in full swing, the wolfskins howled
This
and
nigga's
shook the
raging, man.
irons.
The
These
whole fucking army behind them's like shielded themselves. This nigga's like, fuck that, nigga. Like, knows nothing. Fucking hell.
A small tantalizing taste of a larger
Get behind
story
the wall, bro.
we are, alas, not privy to. Eventually, we are, alas, not privy to. Eventually, as the Viking Age progressed, it seems that the Berserker fell into decline. This was in part due to the disruptive nature of their existence, which posed a threat to the increasingly unified and Christianized land of Scandinavia. For example, in 1015, King Eric of Norway outlawed berserkers and duels, while in later
What?
12th century Iceland, we see laws which stated, if someone goes berserk, he is punished with lesser outlawry, and the men who are present are also banished if they do not bind him. Thus, the pagan religion and the practice of Berserker gang slowly faded from history.
They was like, we don't ever want to have to fuck with those niggas again. So, for this one time in history where we finally got the upper hand and these niggas, we're gonna stem that shit from happening again, bro. They was like, yo, we didn't even want to have to fucking deal with them again, bro. So, well, we got the upper hand. Let's stop that shit from happening. Like, cause if they ain't vaporized, oh shit. Like, cause fuck, that was lucky, bro. That was lucky that night. You know what I mean? That all those niggas got killed. Shit. I think what really happened was a dude come running out to save the king. He was fighting beside the king, bro, in a bear skin. And he was just fucking every nigga up. That's what I think happened, bro. You know what I mean? That's usually how myths are thing. Like great warriors turned into demigods and turned into all these other things. That's what I think happened. That's only my own opinion. And who the fuck am I? I ain't no historian or nothing. But I think that nigga came out in a fucking... And because it was in the middle of the night, it was dark. You know what I mean? It was like the flames on the walls, maybe on the torches. But that's about it. And all you saw is this nigga with this big fucking berserker with a fucking... With no shirt on. Just chest hair, beard's head. Just fucking niggas up, bro. You know what I mean? And I think the only way they fucking won was because the other ones were killed while they were sleeping, bro. They was sleeping. If them niggas was awake, you already know what type of time y'all niggas was on, bro. Time to meet your mate, nigga.
Present are also banished if they do not bind him. Thus, the pagan religion and the practice of Berserker gang slowly faded from history, though not from memory. We hope you've appreciated this deep dive into the history of the Viking Berserker. A huge thanks is owed to our supporters on Patreon and the many talented researchers, writers, and artists who made this video possible. Please consider contributing.
That was fire, bro. That was fire, bro. I knew it was worth tapping and doing something like that. I knew it was worth tapping and doing something like that, bro. So, yo, run the numbers up on this Berserkers, bro. Y'all imagine that shit. I'm just trying to imagine that shit. Like, you're used to fighting some regular niggas, you know what I mean? With shields and regular swords and spears and shit. Like, that's what you're expecting to pull up on, bro. You rock up on your fucking horse and shit. What's up, nigga? Like, what's it? Oh, what the fuck, nigga? Like 12 niggas standing there with nothing on, bro. They got nothing on, just fucking animal skins and shit. What's up, big niggas and shit? Tattooed up and shit. Like, yo, what? Hey, you know what up, bro? Nothing but love, bro. Stay safe, stay dangerous, and we out. Peace.